Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday. 3-day weekend, y'all. Woo, 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 woo.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm happy.
Don't you know? You are tuned in to Point of View. Danielle and Willie are back. Yes, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes, y'all, we have some interesting stories and discussions lined up for you on today's episode. Coming up, a mega church pastor has been caught in a $50 million scandal involving forced labor. Y'all heard it right. Forced labor, y'all. And on a much lighter note, congratulations are in order to Travis Hunter and his wife, Leanne Lene, on the arrival of their baby boy. So later, we're bringing you Girlfriend's Guide and Mind, Body, and Soul. Y'all know. So come on in and join the discussion. This is POV. Buckle up for this one because it's giving cult, corruption, and straight up chaos in the church house. Oh, why? A pastor who once called himself Jesus's best friend has just been arrested alongside his associate for forced labor and money laundering charges. Neighbors, the feds say, he forced women to work long hours in a so-called ministry call center, cut them off from their families, and even controlled their personal lives, all while racking up $50 million in church donations to fund his luxury lifestyle. Rolls Royces, jet skis, seafood fest. Y'all name it. He was doing it. What y'all got to say about this?
The picture says it all.
What you got to say?
Mugshot says it all. The $8.5 million estate says a lot as well.
Don't
but
you
ain't
know?
no way y'all let that man in that mugshot swindle you.
I am so
ain't no way.
But you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I really do feel like growing up in the church, I feel like there's a very thin line as to how some of this could really be like.
How it could happen?
Yeah, like
Please
how
tell
it could
us
happen.
how.
And I mean, I didn't grow up in no corrupt church. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but you said it's a
But I'm
thin
just
line.
saying, as far as
The believers and
yes.
how much, what extent do you go to believe?
He didn't really,
head.
trick them out of any money. If you feel like something is moving and you're persuaded, that's not necessarily his fault. And then, with them calling it, like a church call center type thing. His church was a mega church, and they had like a 24-hour prayer line. And so, the only thing that gets me about it is once you get to the point where you're talking about the plan B.
Plan B, y'all.
Ooh,
What?
it's
is
too much
going
to unpack.
Well,
on?
I just say that Jericho has dried up and God has brought exposure. And
Jerry my God. To the mugshot. There is no way.
he done dried up. But
But he didn't look like that on the pulpit.
No, he had that Jerry curl in the pulpit.
Well, it was fresh.
It was still a mess, and it was still no.
You need a little activator now.
How does this happen though? I don't understand how
Corruption.
people. But
are the
how
people
are people
naive
do?
though? Are we saying
No, I don't
like-
think people naive. People desire something, and when someone can promise you something, it's the same way with trafficking. When and this is a form of that.
It is.
Because it's when you get in that situation, and the person on the other side is your source of food, your source of comfort and shelter. You're like, I have to do this because somewhere in your mind, maybe you have a family, maybe you have children, and you're like, man, my children on the side, I can't leave, I can't go home. I was just watching a movie the other day, and it was a way like she was a psychologist, but they had her there to help this thief, and then they was like, you couldn't. But he left her with the code. And so she got in so too much into it where she was like, I can't even get away to go see my children because now I have to help you to solve a crime I'm not even involved in. Wow. And so I feel like stuff like that is part of that trafficking where people are like, they see what's going on, but there's no way to escape when you feel like that's what's hindering on your life. So.
Well, the part I'm confused about too is that they said this is not his first time being caught with certain of these charges and stuff. This is not his first time being in trouble.
And he got back in it again.
That's what I'm saying. It's because if you, maybe I'm not, explaining it right.
Okay.
But if you know kind of how the structure, we all know the structure of kind of how church works. There are so many loopholes to where people can easily be taken advantage of, especially in a mega church.
But again,
that's what I'm saying. But who knows what the defense was?
But like how though? Because it's like this psychological warfare. Is that what we're dealing with?
Well, maybe he's gonna go down this time because of the Plan Bs.
But why Plan Bs?
What they say about the Plan Bs?
No, they're saying. They didn't say much about it, but he's saying that he was controlling the woman. They couldn't go home, and they had to take Plan B. So who was sleeping with them?
Well, I read an article though that there was outside men that was coming in too.
So it's prostitution.
And so whenever they were coming in and they were sleeping to make sure. He would just have them take it just so that there was nothing that would pop up.
This was a prayer line, all right.
Oh my! And then there was the allegedly, that word. He was pouring cold water. They would get cold water poured in their face or like splashed in their face if they were like not cooperating with the program.
I would imagine, and it's so crazy. You know how they say when every time you get ready to read the Bible, you get tired. That's a spirit. But anyway,
every time they got on the phone,
imagine these people are on these 24-hour prayer. A lot of people calling in by prayer. I'm nodding off, and you gonna throw the water in my face.
You thought you was getting that good sleep, and boom.
Right.
I'm so tired of fake Christians and people that the honor and the power and the favor of God and the anointing has left them. Yeah. And I'm so tired that they are continuing to represent Christians and we continue to get a bad name because these people getting first class tickets to hell and they choosing it.
Now, before we move on, I want to say this as a pastor myself because I want to be serious for a moment. Yes, I want people to know that this does not represent the entirety of Christendom. And that we do need to not forsake the assembly, and we need people to come together in unity. So I believe this is also the work of the enemy to allow such exposure with this because it puts a light on Christianity. Right. There's other religions out there that do far worse to women, children, and men. Yes. And Christianity is always the one that goes under the heat. And then people say, I told you so, I told you so. So I just want you to know, have discernment, pray, but above all, don't lose your relationship with Christ because we got a couple of bad apples out there.
Well, because there's been a significant decline over the past decades of church, attendance.
Especially our generation.
Yeah, our generation. But I think because of this kind of...
It's because they in the
club,
honey.
They in the club.
They twerking in the club. That's why they in the decline in church attendance, honey.
That's the problem.
It's the hookah.
It's a few things.
It's the hookah?
And the twerking, yes it is.
And the twerking.
I know a lot of people that do hookah and twerk by night and be up Sunday morning at their church.
Staking up the church.
But what does that say, though?
My mama always said, if you can hang out at night, if you can hang out on Saturday, you can make a church on Sunday. That was the thing.
That's why we got so many. That's why we got so many fake Christians too. Because
that make you fake? Is it?
But
is it?
Does that make you attempting to live a righteous, holy life acceptable in the sight of God?
So because you hang out now, you can't live a righteous life?
Because you play with the demons at night, you can. Well, I mean, what you mean?
Is you hanging out? Is you hanging out necessarily playing with demons?
The Bible say the freaks come out at night. Everybody's scared of the dark is for a reason because of what be out at nighttime.
Well, the Bible
don't say the freaks come out at night. You know what?
But I'm gonna help to tell you. The Bible says men love darkness because their deeds are evil. So it does say that. Okay. So turn on all the lights. Yes. So you can see what's going on. So I helped out my sister.
Wow.
Thank you. Like a good hangout and a good fun, but I be right there singing for the Lord in the morning, paying attention to the word.
But I used to go to this church one time, and the lady who led praise and worship, she was so amazing at what she did. But when I tell you that lady smoked weed, she drank liquor.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, and I'm not saying God got to deliver you from what he needed to deliver you from. But at the end of the day, I stopped going to that church because I felt like, is there no one that's going to sit her down?
Child.
I know we got to move. Go ahead.
Y'all, in other news, honey, Travis Hunter, the young football football star everyone's been watching just welcomed a baby boy with his new wife, well, his first wife, Leanne Lene. Oh my gosh, I said first
wife is
Please,
crazy.
forget I said that. Now, they haven't been married that long, and folks are already debating what this means for his future. But why are they so invested? Travis is one of the most talked about newly drafted players in the NFL, but can he balance the pressure of being a husband, a new father, and the expectations of an entire football career? What y'all got to say?
I first want to say congratulations.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
However, as I said before,
No,
this
Billy,
is to
go say it.
lock him down. I don't trust
Why
it. It's in her
why
eyes.
you just can't be happy?
I'm standing for Travis.
Listen.
Free yourself, man of God.
The question was, can he handle it? And what I would say is that Travis has triumphed over a tumultuous childhood.
Yeah.
And I really do believe that he is fortified this, and people need to mind their business. If the man is fine, but they did say on social media. Hey, you know what? Listen, God ain't called me to be no gossip, so I'm gonna leave that for y'all.
I mean, is this a blessing that has grounded him, or do you think it's a distraction?
I mean, it could always be a distraction just because there's so many moving parts in his life that he has to, live up to. But I feel like people are so invested, and I would hate to be famous because I really don't understand why. Like, you cannot do anything in your own life without all this. Like, it's not like the girl came in yesterday. They literally have been like high school sweethearts, nobody, like they've been in love, and they decided to get married because he wanted to, because he popped the question. Okay. And then now they're having a baby and expanding their family, and he got the money to do so. Now, so why not?
Yeah.
She's beautiful too. He also had the money to buy her a little cosmetic surgery.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
Love that lady.
Y'all, we gonna take a quick commercial break, but don't you go anywhere. We'll be back with Girlfriend's Guide and Mind, Body, and Soul. Coming up next. Stay tuned. You're watching The View.
Hey y'all, thank you for sticking with us on this quick commercial break. It's Friday, we going out with a bang. But on a serious note, our question is, what's one thing that you sometimes wish that you chased? Like, what's a dream that you had that you wish that you did chase instead of putting it down? I'm gonna say, since we look quiet and we ain't got much time, when I was, if y'all can't tell, because I like to run my mouth, when I was younger, they used to tell me that I would be a telephone operator. Happy that never happened. But I did want to be, listen, they don't know about Miss Cleo.
You say Miss Cleo.
But I am happy that didn't work out. But I did want to be a lawyer.
They make money.
Yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I got pregnant first year in college, had my son, didn't go back, became a hairstylist, but then my dad had some time. And I did get to low-key almost represent him a little bit. They called me to the stand, baby, and I shut that courtroom down. You hear me? I said, I might need to go back to school.
Listen, it's never too late.
That's right. It's never too late.
Anybody else?
Law. I want to do law.
You're doing it now, though.
I'm doing it now. So there's nothing I really wanted to do that I'm not doing or picking back up to do. I'm already in ministry, politics, so I feel like I'm doing with those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing it.
Okay. She ain't putting us in a game room. Just know what's going down. Y'all don't go anywhere. Stick with us. We'll be right back to the show. Happy Friday.
Welcome back. I can't tell y'all how excited we are about that it's Friday. Okay, now it's time to get into all things love, life, relationships, and everything in between. Let's get into Girlfriend's Guide. Let's talk about something that's getting a lot of attention lately. Friendships. Interesting. Is it really possible for men and women to be just friends these days? Yeah. Between dating apps and social media drama, some say true platonic friendships are nearly impossible. So what do you think? Can men and women really have a friendship without it turning into something more? I think absolutely.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because, you know, when you think about the way and the things that you thought when you were younger, when I was younger, okay, high school, yeah, we think so. Then after, I think when people kind of go through that, you know, sexual activity phase, then you're like, no. But now, like being an adult for real, I'm like, of course. And I think as you grow and you're like more sexually aware and, you know, emotionally stable and just stronger and healthier, it's just like, baby, I do not want to sleep with you. You can be my homeboy for real.
I've always only had not only, I've had friend girls too, but my friends have been males. I have mostly male friends, and we've just been platonic friends. There has not been anything between us.
It's a good thing because, like, why not? Especially, I don't know how men feel, but like me as a woman, sometimes I like to have that male friendship, that ear.
That's
like,
right.
give me the real tea.
That's
like,
right.
Let me know how y'all thinking.
Yeah.
And just being able to talk. Like, I have a lot of great guy friends.
Yeah.
That nothing has ever happened. Nothing wanted to happen. Neither one of us even like each other, attracted to each other.
Yeah.
None of that. We just cool.
Just cool.
Can sit on the phone like one of my homegirls on FaceTime talking for hours, just kicking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might not have ever been attracted to them, but you know, somebody was attracted to you now. But then, you know, it is a little bit easier when you ain't cute. So I don't know which one of your homeboys of all none of them ain't cute. But
Oh my God.
not for me, just for other people. You know, it's easier. If your friend is not attractive.
Oh,
yeah,
It is easier.
yeah. When you're younger, but
Lord,
when you're more mature, you're fine. We can hang out now. Buy me some crab legs.
Oh, wait, the crab legs, but we haven't heard that in a minute. We should have known to come up.
Back. Lord have mercy. I think it is absolutely possible, but I would say this. The question here, the reason why I think people think it's not is because we're in a Gen Z alpha generation that is over-sexualized. You have all these new age gooners, which is basically an obsession with pornography. And so they're recoining it so that they can be able to go out and do what they want to, and they literally like public stuff. It's like they're over sexualizing and lusting out loud. And so because of that, I believe that's why I'm saying it's hard to, and God knows, I work with boys.
Yes.
And I can tell you that it's not one single boy that I've walked into a store with where I have not had to stop them from approaching someone that they have no clue with. And then I won't go into too many details, but that some of them are so overly sexualized that they're willing to just do stuff in the public, just pull stuff out. I had somebody knock at my door yesterday. Where a lady knocked at my door because this man rolled by a street and was pulling his stuff out out there. They come in and knock on the door for me to call the police. So I think this right now, like, people can't be like, oh, that's just, you know, you're attractive, you're pretty, and that's where it goes. But it has to always be more. And that's why I don't like also trying to, because then it can be both sides, because, you know, sometimes y'all women are crazy. And so I think sometimes when you go in and you try to give a compliment, it's always in the back of the head, oh, is he trying to flirt? Is he trying to do that? And I'm like, so it's like, it's there's a balance, and I think you got to sit down and have those conversations. But we do have a whole new generation that is, you know, after us. And so,
well, why do you think it's so much of being like stimulated sexually, just over sexualizing everything? What's behind it?
in the days of Noah, so shall it be in these days. There will be lovers of men of themselves, their flesh. And so at that time was Sodom and Gomorrah, and we'll have likened to this day. The Bible talked about days of coming would be like Sodom and Gomorrah.
It said.
And so Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't destroyed because of homosexuality. It was destroyed because of perversion and disobedience, period. And so what do we see today? We see a generation that is rebellious and just perverted. And perversion is not always sexual, because I know I don't want y'all coming for me in the comments. It's not just sexual. The perversion could be anything twisted from what is truth to what is a lie. And it could be you thinking that, oh, I'm okay if I go out and steal because it's a big company. They ain't gonna miss it. I've had people say that. I literally had to break this down to one of the boys. Oh, well, it's Walmart. They ain't gonna miss it. but you're still stealing.
Yeah.
Because if you steal from Walmart, now I got to hide my stuff. You might, because if you think that way, that's a spirit.
Yeah.
You ultimately are a thief. It doesn't matter whether it's Walmart or your grandma.
Now, I know you're going to have something to say about this. Women
Not all the questions for him.
possibly maybe exposing a little too much. That doesn't help.
As I said before the other day, we have a lot of Anna Nicole Smith whores and floozies.
Oh, I got to go, honey. I'll be back on Tuesday.
that are too promiscuous, and it is the thing. I don't say you got to look like a nun.
Yeah.
And I think there's a way you can wear stuff, but I do think the women today is too much. All your breasts and stuff, all your, your what are them things called? Your elephant stuff hanging out down there, or your camel toe, and all this stuff. And so
all right. Forget how you
What's the elephant thing? I heard that one.
I never should have said a word. I apologize to the viewers that I even asked the question.
Well,
Wrap it up. Tuck it in.
Well, what about how you feel about when people are friends and then it turns into something more?
But you know what I do think?
Is that a great thing?
And it could
can
be
be.
because friendship is the premise of, should be the premise of all relationships.
Yeah.
Good foundation.
But sometimes you should have stayed friends instead of trying to make it become something else.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I know I was watching Blackish, right? Well, I binge watch old shows all the time. But I mean, when Bo was having Dre had his friend who was playing Tyra Banks, and they had been best friends for years. And then every time she comes in town, Bo is like, it's not that they're best friends. It's just that, all his attention goes there. She tried to be his best friend after a while. She said, oh, please, no, I can't stand being your best friend. Just stay friends with her. She's your best friend. Do that. So we can have platonic relationships, even when it's in, husband and wife
And I
situation.
think that is good, as Natalia said, but the conversation, I'm all about communication.
Yeah.
So if there's ever on either side of a feeling of some sort, I think that needs to, say it. Hey, I feel this way.
Yeah.
So that way you go ahead and put the,
Nip it in the bud.
if it's a fire to be,
Extinguished.
put it out. If it's a fire to come to life, okay, now where do we go from here? Let's start having that conversation. But I think it's fair because I had this young one, then I move on. I had this young guy, I told him he thought every single person that was his friend from work, from everywhere he went to school, he thought all of one that was his wife.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it doesn't work like that. So one time he was liking this girl, they hanging out, and I said, hey, if you feel it, you need to really sit down and talk with her,
Yeah.
And so they were hanging out a lot, going to movies, and he went and talked to her, and then she said, oh no, I have a boyfriend, I'm getting ready to get married. And I'm like,
And
He thought
that was his wife.
They be saying that your wife could be somebody else's wife.
That's why I said you got to make sure to have these conversations, because she was just going to the movies and hanging out, and her her boyfriend was okay because like, hey, I trust you, I'm with you, but you never know in what goes on in people's minds, and I've been caught up in situations like that. Have conversations.
Yeah. Moving on to our next segment. This is the part of the show where we pause and reflect on what really matters: our peace, our growth, our purpose. Let's get into mind, body, and soul. Woo-hoo! Yes, mind, body, and soul. All right, y'all. Therapy is everywhere these days. But here's the question. Is it actually helping people heal, or has it become the latest trend to post about on Instagram? Between self-help apps, social media hashtags, even the AI, and viral advice videos, it feels like talking to a therapist is sometimes more about the image than the work. So let's get into it. Are we really using therapy as a tool, or is it just flexing viral trends, just trying to go, viral?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And I say that because, therapy is a little bit more accepted than it was. It's more widely talked about.
Right.
But then I think, I have like a lot of, friends and stuff that have jobs that pay for therapy. I don't know if that's the FMLA thing. I don't know, whatever it's called. Right? I don't know the working terms.
Oh, good, because I was going to ask.
I know some people that use the job therapy, but it seems like they use that to be able to maybe go with their claims or things like that. You know what I'm saying? And so, over time you see, hey, you've been going for 10 years now, but nothing in your life or your mental is changing. And so you know, then I do have other friends that do get that, you know, perk through their job, and I can really see how they're getting more healthy and emotionally stable and things like that. So I definitely think that it's a mix of both.
I definitely feel like it could be both too, but because it's more accepting and our generation is actually talking about it, is it necessarily a thing of you, like, can you not post about it and also do the work? Being like, because they was kind of saying like, you're posting about it, but are you really doing the work? But why can it not be both?
Well, who's posting the most about it? People actually getting the therapy, or people who are providing the service?
That's like a good question.
Like, what's really happening?
That's almost like asking who's losing the most weight, the people that actually go to the gym or the ones that are posting that they go to the gym.
Well, for therapy, I see it as a person getting therapy.
Right.
And I see it just become more of a trend. I don't want to hear you went to therapy.
Right, I don't want to.
I don't personally agree with therapy, and that's a whole nother thing.
Okay.
But I just think that, you know, now it's just becoming, and I know y'all have comments to say, y'all save it for your mother. But I would say this, that when we talk about therapy from a thing, it's supposed to be a private, thing. You're like, if you need help, you need help. I don't need you to know, you to tell me you got bipolar and all these different things, because then I gotta look at you straight. Because
you need to know they got bipolar. There's multiple people.
I don't need it on Instagram.
You don't need to know about it out loud.
That's DID. That's the social identity disorder.
But I feel like you can post about it without going into detail of what you talked about. That could help somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think people are making it more into like podcast saying, okay,
all right, we wrap it. I'm sorry. Well, that's a wrap for today's show. And thank you for hanging out with us. Catch us on POV every Monday through Friday on AFRO TV.